listening to Radio 1851. You're listening to Radio 1851.
It's been 14 minutes.
Okay.
And the streak's back. Back. We're back to our old ways. Back to our old good shows. Back. Lutz is back.
Every show has been good. Don't judge me on that. Every show has been good. Just not every choice of song. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rambling Sports. Lutz over here. I'm dying because of my allergies.
Yeah, you don't sound too great, man.
No, I sound like hell. South Philly Bill on my far left. Oscar is back with us again because no one else really wants to show up. And Oscar, he really has nothing better to do, right, Oscar?
It's just like us being happy that he's here because he's always smiling. And it brings my day because it's like just have a ton of stuff to do before this. And just seeing his face for an hour really makes me happy.
Oh, that means a lot. Yeah, actually, I have a ton of work to do. I have an 8 a.m. exam. However,
not fun.
Yeah, I'm here. I can't wait. We're going to have a great show.
I hope we do. God knows we need one, even though we have a good one almost every week. But as I was talking off air at this point, the first thing that I see up on ESPN.com, because of course it has to be, and this is going to be the first topic of the day, quote, "We've got the proof, : you can't stop Joel Embiid. You can't even hope to contain him."
I thought that was like a known fact by now. Yeah. I thought the Masked Man is going to be back for Game 3 and no one's going to be able to stop him.
Well, Hassan Whiteside may have something to say about it, but let's talk, because it's not the Phillies, because we are in the Philadelphia area, we got the 76ers. I love to say that Dwayne Wade literally put on the game of his life yesterday. Yeah, you think it was yesterday or 2 days ago?
It was 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago.
It was not. Wait.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, as a fan of basketball and a fan of Dwayne Wade, that's incredible what he did.
Oh, wait, did we not say, we said last week that Dwayne Wade could win a game in this series, and look what happened last night. The Sixers shot 16% from 3, and Dwayne Wade went off as Kevin Hart.
Well, don't forget, we were talking about as if Milwaukee was going to play them at this point for the series.
I'm saying Dwayne Wade could still win a series. That's what we said.
Oh, of course,
8 games.
This series could easily. I think it could go 6. I don't think it will go 5. If it goes 5, that's good for the Sixers. But I
think it goes 6 is better for the Sixers. I like Embiid getting in more shape if it goes 6. I'm fine with that. Well, I like him getting in game shape more. I don't think if the Sixers lose 2 games of the series, it means they can't beat Boston in the next round. I just think it means that you saw Game 1. The Sixers were incredibly efficient. They made 18 threes, the most ever they've ever made in franchise playoff history. You saw when everything's clicking, they can put up 130 in a minute, and you can not even realize that they just did. Especially because the game, they were down in the first half. They were down 12. And then they cut it to single digits before the half, and then they just shot lights out the second half. And that's what the Sixers need to do to win when Embiid's not in there. And you saw in Game 2 that they were down big. They came back. They weren't shooting as well. They cut it to 2 with, it was 3.5 minutes left, I think. I was watching. I was freaking out. But again, the young turnovers, they didn't shoot well. They shot 16% from the 3. I'd bet my college tuition that doesn't happen again. And
hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah. It's not, because there's 2 great of shooters on the team. Turnovers reared their ugly head, which is what they said they didn't need to do in the playoffs. And Dwayne Wade won a game. He's a Hall of Fame player who still has it, who can still bring it 1 out of every 5 games. So I'll take my odds on that. And I obviously do think the Sixers did need to get punched in the mouth without Embiid. And then,
to be honest, I thought that was going to happen in Game 1, but obviously it's a good thing for them that they did lose a game, because it's kind of tough. Because let's say they swept the Heat.
It's really tough.
That would have been bad for them to lose their first game in quite some time.
That would have been 21 games in a row, not losing a game. So I'm fine with getting punched in the mouth. You need that sometimes, especially in a 7-game series. It's 7 games.
Well, yeah, they got one of the game 3 is tomorrow. Game 3 is tomorrow. Tomorrow. Honestly, we'll see how that goes. Is Embiid supposed to play?
Yes,
because he's been all
play.
over Twitter.
Well, I want to get Oscar as not a guy who's on the show. What did you think of what he did on Instagram right after game, before Brett Brown got to the to hit the podium for a press conference? He tweeted, "I'm so effing tired of being babied."
I think he's sending a message, man. You know that he's a huge difference maker when he's on the court, and obviously, it is their first loss of the series. However, I do understand where he's coming from. I mean, it takes a pair to just go out there all over social media just saying, because now the world knows. Now the world knows how he feels. So the chances of him playing tomorrow are very high, and of winning tomorrow are just as high.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I playing in, I gotta say it. Bad radio, but I think playing in Miami's rough for the Sixers. I wouldn't be surprised if they're down a game after tomorrow. They have never played well in American Airlines Arena over the past 4.5 years since Brett Brown's been the coach.
Well, also don't forget there's a completely different team since.
I know, but I mean historically, just they don't play Miami well in Miami. Yeah. I don't know if it's because they're in Miami and they're out the night before and they're a young team.
Yeah.
That could very much well be the case. With Embiid and Simmons.
Just be happy J.R. Smith isn't on the team.
But it could also be seen the other way. Like Miami plays very well at home.
Yeah, they do. So I don't. Just looking forward to next Thursday. Embiid in a mask. I'm so hyped up for it. Yeah. That is going to be so cool.
No one cares about Embiid in a mask.
Wait, when Mask Kyrie came out and dropped 40 and Mask LeBron was out there, everyone's freaking out. You know if Embiid comes out, has 25, 15, it's going to be Masked Embiid forever. They played so well, he's back.
But it's so stupid. It's the stupid. He's wearing a mask. Whoop-de-doo.
That black. You're telling me that black mask doesn't look badass?
Yeah.
He looks like a superhero.
But he's not a superhero. He's a 7'1" giant man who plays basketball very well.
Oh yeah, and he's going to be running his mouth all game. He's gonna love his personality.
He's also going to be running up and down the court because he is going to be out of shape. I'm surprised if he does. I will not be surprised if he doesn't play 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Especially, you hope that's in a blowout case and they're up big in the fourth quarter and they can just play their reserves and Holmes gets 3,000 dunks in the game. But best case scenario for Embiid, and I think for the Sixers, is the series does go to 6. And they win in game 6 so Embiid can get his legs underneath him and get back into basketball shape. Because I had a couple of friends who were at the game, and he was the last one out there in warm-ups. And I don't know if you guys saw this video.
No.
I think Bleachers. So he was taking threes from the logo, and he would run from baseline to baseline, come out, shoot a 3, run the other baseline, come out, shoot a 3, just try to get into shape. He's obviously doing whatever he can to get back into that game shape, but it's going to take him 2 games to really get back in the groove and get
He's only been out for 2 or 3 weeks?
Yes, but he's been out a month. Injury happened late March.
Yeah. Right.
And he's
shows how much I care about Philly basketball.
Yeah, he always said he was the biggest proponent of, I hate when I sit out a game because I get out of shape so easily.
Yeah, I know. It's the guy who's been, it's like he only played 94 games in 4 years of his NBA career.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So, Brett Brown, in game 1, he made the adjustment of Ersan starting after when they were down at half to pull Whiteside out from the perimeter guarding. And then Whiteside only played, I think, 5 minutes in the second half when they had to play small with the Sixers because they were running so fast. He tried to do that at the start of game 2. It would have worked if they were hitting shots. Whiteside did get into early foul trouble. They were running up the score in the Sixers at the beginning of the game. That was a Sixers game up until the second quarter. The second quarter, the Sixers absolutely imploded. They didn't hit a shot. They only scored 13 points. I think they were outscored 31 to 13.
D-Wade also kind of started hitting his stride.
Yeah, and they just did an excellent job defensively, being physical on Simmons, being physical off screens, being constantly just harassing Redick and Bellinelli, which they were doing in the first quarter. But in the first quarter, they were fouling them, and the Heat were in foul trouble. I think they were in the penalty or bonus shots for college basketball people with 7 minutes left in the first quarter. It was 4 minutes, and they had 17 fouls or something like that. And I think that's a strategy the Sixers are going to employ again in Game 3. But the difference is the Sixers can go down low for a bucket with Embiid whenever they need it.
Well, yeah, of course. But like at the same, let's think about this. So the one key that was success. I'm not a big, as obviously, I wish I kind of watched more basketball in general. I haven't stopped watching as much because the Knicks were not that good. Dario doesn't shoot threes that often, or can he shoot reasonably well? Sarge.
Yeah, he can shoot. He's a 40-plus shooter.
All right, there you go. So you have, realistically, you could have a starting five if you wanted to. Ben Simmons at the point, Bellinelli, Redick, Sarge, and Ilyasova, which are, you have 4 3-point shooters and a ball head.
That's how it's been. That's how it's been coming out of the first timeout in the first quarter and coming out of halftimes.
Okay,
that's how it's been over the first 2 games. They've had those 4 specific guys on the floor.
Well, yeah, that's understandable, especially with a Heat team that defensively is very anchored to the middle, obviously because of Whiteside. But
he's not playing that much though. It's been Richardson doing it. Richardson and Winslow. Winslow has been all over Ben Simmons.
Well, but Winslow has been a phenomenal defender since he's walked
into
the league.
That's what I'm saying. Playing very physical, and Ben Simmons is
big Duke guy over here.
Oh yeah, Winslow for sure. Dude.
He's playing very well. And then Richardson, this guy running around screens, and he might have ran like a marathon in Game 2. How hard of defense he played, and you got to give it to the Heat. I mean, they played a great game. Whatever, Spoelstra's still a great coach. Pat Riley's still a great GM, and they still have a Hall of Fame player. They're going to get their due.
Well, they have enough talented players, and they have enough talented players in there. And like, I want to see. It would be nice to see Spoelstra win. It won't happen for quite some time, but it would be nice to see Spoelstra win a title. Like, especially like, let's say D Wade retires in the next year or so, which could possibly happen. And like in 3 years' time, Miami's back with a young core of talent and they win the title. That'd be a nice little story. It's like, hey, you know what?
The funniest thing is they're going to trade Whiteside at the end of the year. He's out.
Yep.
He's a max player and plays 16 minutes a game and does not play crunch time. Last 4 minutes of the game. And game within 5.
Yeah, Olynyk is putting up
well.
Yeah, and he's a competitor. He's very physical,
and he's a better perimeter defender than Whiteside.
He especially can shoot on the perimeter too.
Exactly.
That's why. On Embiid, it's gonna be rough.
It's gonna be interesting what they do with defensive rotations with Embiid on the court.
Yes,
I'm saying that as well. The Sixers are. It's going to be interesting how they have a lot of rotation issues that came up that were like glaring in Game 2 that weren't glaring over their win streak. McConnell not playing over Fultz in half-court sets, especially with these officials. I read something online today. These officials had called the slowest basketball games. I forget their names. Just the combination of the 3. It's the slowest and most calls per game in the playoffs right now. So with a game that you know is going to be slow and more of a half court, I personally think McConnell may be a better guy to back up Simmons when, one, Fultz doesn't really know how to play in a half court sets. 2, Fultz's skills right now are better suited for an open court basketball game. So if they get a game like that, Fultz is back in, and then you play McConnell. And the second with the rotations, how do they work in Ersan and Bellinelli, especially with Sarge playing well? Like, do they go back to their old sets they were running when Embiid was back, where they didn't really, all the chemistry that was gotten was when Embiid's gone? It's going to be interesting to see how Brett Brown deals with that.
I think Brown is good enough of a coach where he'll figure that out. I think, especially with that team, you could thank God that Embiid can actually shoot a 3 when he needs to. Because if he was that kind of guy where like a Whiteside where he can't shoot outside of the box. He can't shoot outside of the box. Like, that's a problem because then it keeps everything grounded, and then the chemistry's kind of mixed up, kind of ruined at that point. And Embiid, obviously, it's going to be different with that with him there, obviously, because he's a little bit slower. He's out of shape. Well, he's not out of shape. But he's out of in-game shape, as you would say. But they can still spread the floor reasonably well. It just won't be as spread out. I think for maybe the first half, maybe for the entirety of Game 3.
Well, there was actually a cool thing just because you mentioned spreading the game out, and you're right with Embiid is going to draw more attention with.
And it's interesting to see how keep people open.
It's interesting to see how the spacing will work then. Interesting, like CNN actually posted an article about the Sixers because it was right before Game 2. I read it on the day of the game. CNN, and they talked about how the Sixers think about spacing, and they focused on in the Sixers training facility. I don't know, like you guys obviously don't watch these videos for practice, but I do.
I don't go to CNN. I know.
Oh, it popped on like my phone news app. And it was how the Sixers utilize a 4-point line. They actually incorporate a dotted, like very faint gray line on their practice facility 3-point line that is 5 feet behind the actual 3-point line. Yeah. So if you're ever looking at a game, Covington, Bellinelli, and Redick are all standing 5 feet behind that line to incorporate greater spacing because that is how Brett Brown thinks about it at practice. I just thought that it doesn't have anything to do about Game 3. I just thought it was very interesting to see how.
Well, that's an interesting way how to practice, spacing on a court.
And what they mentioned is Popovich does that in San Antonio not to that degree.
Brett Brown is a
Popovich disciple. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. You bring up spacing, and if anyone, it was actually really. I read it in my 8 a.m. marketing class because I just can't do anything at 8 a.m. But it was a good read, and it was just something to mention. It was something to think about when the Sixers are playing. Like, you see how they constantly are setting screens beyond the 3-point line. They set an average screen, like, a certain percentage farther out. Like, when Embiid or Holmes sets a screen, they're normally outside of the 3-point line, meaning normal teams at least have 1 foot in the 2-point area of the arc. The Sixers are most of the time completely out of it. So that's how just something they think about spacing and shooting more from the 3, which leaves Embiid more space inside. Yeah. I just thought it was kind of interesting.
I also think a possible dark horse is Amir Johnson. He was a rebounding machine
dude.
for Toronto, and I just want him to put up double figures in rebounding in this series.
How many rebounds did he have in Game 1? I'm pretty sure.
Game 1 he had 7.
7? He didn't play a lot in the second half. Yeah. That was like all first half numbers for him. And he was playing well, and good for Brett Brown. He saw that Ersan was going to space out the game more because they were struggling in the first half with spacing. And when they went to Ersan at the 5, Sarge at the 4, Bellinelli at 3, Redick at the 2, and Simmons at the 1,
he's probably open. Amir Johnson's the third best rebounder on the team besides Simmons and Embiid.
Probably the fourth. Holmes is better than him.
Ilyasova has been putting up some numbers in this series as well. I just think, like you just said it earlier, 16% from the 3. Like, second chance points literally win basketball games. Yeah. So I think and I hope
you complete. I hope you just switch from like 3-point percentage to second chance points.
He's talking about second. Because
offensive rebound.
What was the offensive rebound totals for each team?
The Sixers barely had any.
Yeah,
the other last because it was actually all in favor. Every rebounding number was in favor of the Heat, and the Sixers were still within 2 with 3 minutes left.
Well, that's a problem when you don't have your 7-foot center wandering around in there going up against.
Well, they also played so fast that they couldn't get.
I probably doubt that they had a lot of guys in the post if they're trying to spread out the floor.
They just didn't. They played too fast for how young they were that game.
Yeah,
and it's something that we all knew it was going to happen, and it was like watching Colin Cowherd the next day was ripping. Oh, like you shoot port, you're just like every other team. Like, of course, every team is like that. Like, if you have a bad shooting night, you're probably not going to win.
Just like every other team, because you lose a game. Whoop-de-doo, Colin Cowherd.
So, I'm a Cowherd fan. Like, I think he brings up some good topics.
He does. He brings up some good topics, but I feel like he just feels so entitled that like he thinks he knows everything when he doesn't. He's like Skip Bayless of the West Coast.
Don't compare him to Skip. I like him better than Skip.
Well, everyone's better than Skip. Speaking of, you know what? I need to talk about 2 particular things, and I know it was mentioned today on all sports channels and whatnot, but we got to talk. I want to talk about 2 series in particular. One is this Cavs Pacers series, and 2, ironically, a former Sixer going off the other day. I want to say yesterday was Drew Holiday. Yesterday. Mm-hmm. Old Uncle Drew and the Pelicans against the Trailblazers.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly incredible. I actually watched this game last night because I had nothing better to do.
Which one are you talking about?
Game two.
Game two.
Game two. Great game.
It was a great game.
Drew Holiday had probably the best game of his life. Maybe I don't know. He probably had a better game as a Sixer when he was an All-Star.
I would not doubt that he had a better game than what I just watched.
He killed it. It's really intriguing to see how this Pelicans team, which is obviously Anthony Davis is the forefront. Rondo on that team has really done a phenomenal job spreading out the ball. He's the main ball handler, obviously, because that's just what he can go to the Hall of Fame strictly because he's just that good of a ball.
He put up 16, 10, and 9 last night.
Yeah, but Rondo is always, as a passer, he could be considered a Hall of Fame candidate. And I know it's weird to say, but because he literally couldn't shoot, he can't shoot outside of the 3-point line for his life. But as a guy who could pass, he's incredible. And Holiday's really, I think since Rondo's been on that team, Holiday's kind of stepped up a lot. And also, it's shocking to see how this team does pretty well without Boogie Cousins. And I want to say, Bill, I want to say you said it before. So I heard it somewhere, and I thought it was in this station. I hope it was. That realistically, if the Pelicans can go far in this playoffs, if they can get past Portland, they'll probably, if it's the 3, they'll probably play against, who's the number 2?
Golden State.
They'll probably play Golden State and probably lose by in 5. I don't think they would get swept. I think they would lose in 5. I know Golden State's that good, but something about, especially if the team's playing this well.
They also need to get Steph back and work him into the rotation in that series as well.
Yeah.
So
Drew Holiday's playing the best defense of his life. If you can guard Damian Lillard very well, and somebody's guarding CJ McCollum, because both of them aren't playing well. I understand Portland's a very good team, and they are, but they are a backcourt-heavy team.
I'm very disappointed by the Portland Trailblazers, how they play.
Well, Lillard's
been shut down by Drew Holiday, and CJ McCollum just hasn't had a good series, which is fun, which I get. That's fine. Talk about don't worry about other guards not having a good series, like Bradley Beal in Game 2. He completely whiffed. I think it was that All-Star was last night, where they're like, come on, the Wizards aren't that bad. They shouldn't be losing by what? How much did they lose by? 20 last night?
That was a rout.
Yep.
They lost by 11. They lost by 11. But they let up 130. I understand the Raptors are the best team in the East, debatably.
We can talk about that series after we talk about these two. And I do think that is the Raptors being that good. But the thing I kind of want to get back to what you were saying with the Boogie comment. I think what you were mentioning is that I said that this series was going to be huge for the future of Western Conference with Boogie and Anthony Davis. I do recall what you're saying, and I honestly had that thought last night. I was laying in bed watching this game, and what this game showed that the Pelicans can be a top 3 team in the West if they get consistent play out of their guards. And Boogie stays and comes back.
I think realistically that team, if you swapped over JJ Redick and maybe Bellinelli or a good 3-point shooter on this Pelicans team, they're a top 4 team in the East. They're a top 4 team in the West,
especially with the talent they have down low. And this is all assuming.
And also Boogie and Anthony Davis can stretch the floor too. It's all assuming
Boogie and Anthony Davis come back, and that high-low pick and rolls are devastating with them.
Well, yeah, because Drew Holiday is one of the best pick and roll point guards in the league.
I think this series is obviously not going to end. But I would, if you're asking me right now who I think is going to win this series, I go Portland all the way. I think Portland will win this in 7. I think Damian is too great of a player.
No.
I think Damian Lillard is too great of a player.
I've been a Damian Lillard bandwagoner for the longest time.
I think they got punched in the mouth, and now they got to go to the Pelicans for 2 games, and they're going to take the next 2 in New Orleans. I think I can seriously see that happening, and then I see them winning this 7.
I can see New Orleans winning in 7. That's my
they got to play it in Portland Game 7. I'm not going Pelicans over the Blazers Game 7. It is
about the front court though. Anthony Davis Nurkic is a great player. However, comparing to both, Anthony Davis has been putting ridiculous numbers.
Anthony Davis is debatably a top 5 player in this league.
I just think you let he's a center. Like there's not many other ways he could
forward.
affect the game in an offensive way. You shut down you let Anthony Davis get his, and you don't let Drew Holiday score 33 on you, and that's not going to happen this game.
Rondo almost had a triple-double. You can't let that happen.
Yeah, I'm saying you let Anthony Davis get his and play those guys. This is peak those two performances in this series. I don't think that happens
Drew
again.
Holiday's not getting 33. Probably again, maybe not until next year.
He might, yeah. I don't think he's put up those stat lines since he was at UCLA. So I think
that's questionable too. I don't think he dropped 33 at UCLA ever in his life.
His brother has though. His brother has.
Who's his brother?
He's got like 3 brothers that went to, or 2 other brothers that went to UCLA. I think one's there now too.
Yeah, the one that's in. I don't know. Isn't
Justin Holiday that went to UCLA?
They all went to UCLA.
I don't know. I don't know who. Drew
Every
Holiday's
Holiday that's ever been in a UCLA is a member of that.
There's
family.
one that
Aaron Holiday. Aaron Holiday.
I have no idea who that is. I thought there was one that was on the. There was a Holiday that was on the Bulls that showed up on the Knicks when when Derrick Rose was traded there. But I had no idea if there was any relation.
But back to the series.
I think looking forward, I think the next 2 games in New Orleans are going to be very interesting.
Yeah, but they also stole 2 at home in Portland.
I know they stole home court advantage. I'm saying I think the Trailblazers got punched in the mouth and they come back from that. I think that series is far, far, far from over. That won't be over by the next time we talk. Put it that way.
I agree, but if we're talking about a series that won't be over, that'll actually be very questionable. Well, what's today? Today's the 18th. At this point, what do we got? Wednesday the 25th would be Game 5 of Cavs-Pacers. Now,
that series is over by then. That series is over the next time we talk. Cavs are not losing another game this series.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think LeBron
Victor
loses.
Oladipo's so good.
LeBron.
He's
James.
been so great since he left Orlando and
LeBron,
back to his home state of Indiana.
Ever since he left the Thunder, he's been great.
Thunder.
I think LeBron isn't going to let that happen. Did you see LeBron's a little.
He didn't shoot in the first quarter.
I understand that, and he also almost had a triple-double. So I think
because he's the best player in the world.
Exactly,
he did have a triple-double.
He did have a triple-double. Yeah. He's the best player in the world. Let the guy play. They lost by 18 in a first game of a first-round series. That's never happened to LeBron before.
He didn't lose.
I think
he didn't lose a round.
They don't.
He didn't lose a game in Game 1 since
2014. They don't lose another game in the series. This is the first. This is the only game they lose till Game 3 of the second round of the Eastern Conference semifinals. The second game, they win. They win the next 4 games of the series, and they win in Game 5. And we're talking about LeBron versus the Raptors, and we're talking about how the Sixers can get to the Eastern Conference Finals versus LeBron James in a week. That's how confident I am in LeBron James in the first round of the playoffs.
I'm very confident in that too. I just want to see it happen.
I think it does happen. It
did not. Nobody looked good.
Kevin Love only dropped 9. He did have 17 rebounds.
I think these guys play better. Like when guys have these poor performances and they have a track record of playing well, you just have to go into the next game with the knowledge that they're going to play better.
I don't know. I completely agree. I'm not saying that. I just don't think it could go 5, probably, but I think Victor Oladipo has something to say about it. That's my view. If they get to. They already stole 1 game at home from Cleveland. That's very ideal for them. I think they can win a game in Indiana. For all we know, the series goes to 6. They can easily win 2 games.
LeBron James ended 5 this series. He wants to go get rest, drink some wine. He's done after Game 5.
Sheesh.
He's resting up for Toronto.
But you know, Lance Stephenson's going to be doing Lance Stevenson.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. That was hilarious. That's the best. That was the best part about the Sixers getting the 3 seed is that LeBron has to face Lance Stevenson, and especially if he's on the Pacers. It wouldn't be right if he was on like the King, like the Hornets. It wouldn't be the Kings or
he was on the Hornets.
If he was on, if it wouldn't be right. He's got to be on the Pacers. That is just hilarious. I love that. It's so funny.
What did he had a couple hard fouls on him this game. What I want to see him just do something really absurd, like just spit right in his eye, just hock a fat loogie right in his face. Go,
I'm pretty positive he got some spit in his ear back in 2012.
When he blew his ear. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what the next thing I want to see. Like what else worse that you could possibly do than just like there's like
it's so annoying. That might be the worst feeling in the world. If I just blew in your ear, it's so uncomfortable.
I'm not trying. I'm trying to be the best basketball player in the world. I'm just trying to go play offense. I don't need you to just go.
But with that
sound, even here, I need to take off my headphones.
That being said, he's going to try his best to get him off his game. He's going to try and get LeBron's off his game.
That ain't going to happen. The question is, it's like the Cavs are like the Pelicans and like this. You're not going to stop Anthony Davis. You're not going to stop LeBron James. What's the support going to be like?
Kevin Love has to step up and play very well.
Kevin Love, Kyle Korver has to step up. Larry Nance, Jordan Clarkson, the four guys that they traded for. Hold on, what was the stat line for?
Well, isn't it interesting that you trade away Dwayne Wade and he comes and wins the game in the first round?
Dwayne Wade was not going to.
I know. I just think it's
be quiet.
I think it's very funny that you trade away. Obviously, that was more of a salary cap. Plus, they wanted to get younger, and more. Here's
the guys they ended up getting. The guys they ended up getting. George Hill, not George Green.
He played terribly.
Shout out to Trailer Park Boys with George Green. Jeff Green 0, George Hill 7, Rodney Hood 9, Larry Nance 10, Tristan Thompson didn't have a point, Jordan Clarkson didn't have a point. I know they only played 2 minutes apiece. Actually, no. Jordan Clarkson played 21 minutes.
Wait, hold on. Is there a car squealing in the studio?
Not in this studio. Maybe outside.
Yeah. I heard it in my headphones.
Oh, no, I heard it too.
I thought Lutz turned into an automobile real fast. It was hilarious.
Nice. It sounded like Lance Stevens trying to.
Yeah, Lance was messing with Lutz. Lance came on the radio, started messing with him.
Oh yeah, I doubt that. Please.
But yeah, back to your point. Yeah, the pickups really didn't play well. Like the ones they picked up the first game of the season.
It was good for J.R. Smith that he came alive in the fourth quarter, but that doesn't really matter.
I just think LeBron.
Kyle Korver only played 4 minutes.
I think LeBron in the next game plays very well, and we'll see LeBron James, playoff LeBron James, come back and get his teammates to make shots. He just willed them to.
They also didn't make any shots. Like they always shot 38% from the field, 23.5% from three, and 60% from the free throw line.
Yeah, he's going to will them to some wins.
He's playing 45. He's playing 40 minutes a game. What's he going to do? Play 50? He's going to play 50 minutes a game. Is that even humanly possible?
If it goes into overtime, it's 48 minutes for a basketball game.
Exactly. The guy's going to go play 48 minutes a game for them to even win. He might as well not. He might as well just not take a break. He might as well not get off the court.
So we'll see. I do think. If you're asking my prediction right now, LeBron rattles off 4 wins, and he's drinking wine while we're talking about him rattling off 4 straight wins next Wednesday at 3:33.
Call me crazy. I do agree. The Cavs could definitely win the series. I don't know about 5.
They will win the series. They will win the series.
But I'm going to say LeBron's going to be complaining about a lot of foul calls for the next 4 games if they do win, seeing it goes his way. Let's see if it happens. If he is going to get to the line that many times. If he's just going to... I don't know. I feel like that's unbelievable play, unbelievable talent.
The best player in the world should be making 14 out of 14 free throws. Would it have done nothing? No. But you know what? If he's the only guy... He had the most shot attempts at 17. He made more shots than people shot the ball in last night's game.
That's where it should be.
I agree, but
and
they stink.
I know it was in the past, but I got to bring it up because I was out in Center City watching the game when they played the Sixers. How he got that last 3-point... Well, how the Sixers blew the lead was mind-boggling.
Was it this season or was it
in the season? No, this season, like 2 weeks ago. And last shot, and he just throws it up, and the ref calls a foul, shooting foul. And he made the first and missed the second. So he had to miss it on purpose, and then they ended up losing the game. Sixers win. And good old famous Sixer song came on, and I was clapping my hands, and it was what a song! What a day!
That song is terrible.
No, it is not.
It teaches
Lutz, come on,
Come
on. Enjoy happiness for once, dude.
I'm a happy man. Okay, I am not happy right now because I'm literally congested. The studio is warm. It is beautiful outside, and I'm in here being miserable, being just chock full of allergy-ridden human being here. I'm speaking nonsense, but I don't care.
But you know who is happy? That caller from last week.
I don't want to...
With the Devils.
I don't care.
Yeah. Apparently they won a game. I'm not a big hockey, but Oscar comes in and he's like, that guy who called last week is going to be a happy man.
Ricky from Rahway, man. Ricky from Rahway. Shout out to you for the Devils winning the game. The series is 2-1. Huge game today. Let's see how Taylor Hall performs tonight.
I don't want to hear that kid's name in my life. I know exactly who he is, and his name ain't Ricky. I don't want to hear. He doesn't deserve a shout out on my show. Okay, no, I have a problem here. This song is not that good.
Oh my God!
It's a song.
Get out of here, dude. Just
it's a
embrace
song about
happiness.
Okay.
It's a happy song. You just don't like it because you're not a Sixers fan, and it's perfectly okay.
It's a song about counting.
Yes. The team is called the 76ers. They have numbers in their name. The song's going to be about numbers.
Cool. This isn't Sesame Street.
It wasn't until last year. I'm a huge Brooklyn Nets fan, and they're just terrible. However, right before when the Sixers were getting hot, as everyone was trusting the process,
you bandwagoned on the Sixers?
Oh no, not at all. However, I am rooting for them this series. Just because I love hearing that song goes at the beginning of the song, the dun 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 dun, dun, and you already know everyone starts getting up, everyone's all happy, and we just clap your hands, everybody.
All right, we gotta move on. We gotta stop.
Again, it sounds like a Sesame Street tune. And you know what? For all those who are angry about that, I don't care. I don't feel like listening to Sesame Street songs when I'm watching basketball.
Super catchy.
Oh yeah, it's super catchy. Well, it's super catchy because it's just 76ers is like, wow, I want to hit my head with a 2x4.
Here they come. Anyways, Sixers.
Let's talk about hockey.
Well, all right.
That's what we were trying to do until you unfairly bashed the best theme song in the NBA. So, your fault. Your fault.
You're probably the only theme song in the NBA.
I'm saying the best.
Yeah, but it's probably the only one.
Right before we go to hockey, can't wait for the Sixers-Boston series.
Me too.
That's if it gets to there. But it probably will. If everything pans out, barring no injury, knock on wood.
What do we think about the Flyer series? Have you guys been keeping up? Because I have,
as a wise man once told me, which I kind of realized after watching some of the games in the regular season, this is a series of high-scoring hockey where one team... Where so far he's been right, where every game, like in the regular season, they either win by a lot of goals or they lose by. It's either 5-1 them or 5-1 the other team. It's just unnecessary. A lot of goals are being scored per game. Game 4 is tonight. Let's see how they do. Maybe it goes 2-2, heading right back into Pittsburgh.
Well, yeah, they're making some line changes.
And you also let up 12 goals in 2 games.
For the brief attention that I gave it this morning.
Actually, 13 goals in 3 games.
In preparation for the show. They're changing up some lines around. They're going to get a little bit more physical.
Didn't want you guys just get hurt? Like didn't you guys just get hurt on practice?
It's crazy. The Flyers they have some batty crap happen to them sometimes, and it is really hard to keep up with. It's mentally hard to be a Flyers fan, and I feel for all the people that are diehards. I'm very much a bandwagon Flyers fan.
The diehard Flyers fans are like probably the realest fans in all of sports.
They are some of the realest fans.
Yeah.
They care a little too much sometimes. That it annoys me.
I don't know. Yeah, being at a Flyers Rangers game for a playoff game, mind you, where all the real fans come out and celebrate. They are the rowdiest fans in all of sports,
and they're great people. Like They are.
They're great people when you're friends with them. Not when you're on the opposing team. God no. Then it's like back to the old Philly faithful, where they throw stuff at you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get.
That's your fault for wearing a Rangers.
Exactly. So I want to show you a little story.
Be smart.
About so I came visiting when I was in high school, and I was repping a Giants shirt, and actually my brother was wearing a Devil shirt. We wanted to go to Reading Terminal, see this stuff. So my brother had a drink in his hand. And what do you know? A good old Flyer fan just knocked the drink and it spilled all over him, and get a nice little curse word at him and just say,
"You guys got to be smarter."
Yeah, of course. But that's just the Philly atmosphere.
I'm not saying it's a good thing, but you got to be smart.
You got to be smart. Yeah, I know. But that's just my 2 cents in about Flyer fans.
Getting back to the series tonight, I don't expect the Flyers to win. I think this series is pretty much over with injuries and the way they've been playing. I hope the line changes make it a little bit more physical and a little bit more low
by the way, shout out to the Golden Knights for sweeping the Kings.
Yep.
I really hate the Kings, and that's very ideal.
Absolutely.
Also, hopefully they keep my prediction right with Vegas possibly going to the finals.
Yeah. I do think the Flyers don't win another game this series. I hope they do, but with the way they played in Game 1 and Game 3, they came back in Game 2 and played well, but it's just I don't like the inconsistent play. The Penguins are the champs for a reason. They have Crosby, he's the best player in the game.
Yeah.
I think they get the job done over the next 3 games, and we're not talking about the Flyers in a week.
No, they have a chance of making it to the Cup again because the Capitals looks like they're struggling too, and if the Blue Jays,
it's never the Capitals' year.
They are the Capitals, the Washington Nationals, and the Dallas Cowboys are the same 3 teams. They can have the best record in the league, score the most amount of points. They could be the highest scoring offensive defense.
Time out.
And they get into the playoffs and they cannot do.
By the way, that is a little too much love for the Cowboys because they were literally captain average, like Mr. 500.
I'm talking 13-3 when they were.
I'm talking about not too long ago when they go 8-8 every year and wondering why Jason Garrett is still a head coach.
No, I'm talking about when they're really good and people are expecting them to do well. They can never live up to expectation teams.
That's absolutely not. No, America's team has only won 2 playoff games in 17 years.
Yeah, we don't even. I want to throw up even mentioning that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
especially as America's team. Come on, there.
Well, to be honest, they're not America's team.
Exactly.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to the rest.
I'd rather be the San
looking forward to the rest of the Cup. And
Boston's leading the Maple Leafs right now.
I'd like to see Boston. I would be very interested in what we predicted before as a Boston, Las Vegas,
Las Vegas
Cup.
Yeah,
I like how it's still on track. I like when our picks are still looking good. I'm rooting for our picks at this point.
Yeah. What do we all agree with Boston, at least on the East. I think it'll be interesting. Let's see what happens because if everything pans out right, it'll probably end up being Vegas and Nashville, and that should be a really fun series. But Nashville can go make it again. Nashville's a phenomenal team. They still have what's his name?
DK Subban?
Yeah, PK Subban. Still one of the best defenders in the league. Literally one of the nicest people ever. Like did he as soon as he got traded, but 2 weeks before trade, supposedly he donated a whole hospital wing to the whole hospital wing in Montreal, and they named it after him or something like that. It was a true gentleman of the sport. Mm-hmm. But
I also think
hockey.
Hockey.
That was hockey talk.
San Jose, Las Vegas. That's going to be another great series because hopefully.
I still think
the good old. I like calling them the Mighty Ducks. Hopefully, the Mighty Ducks can get a game out of the series. However,
the Mighty Ducks. The only way the Mighty Ducks are ever going to be able to do it is if Michael J. Fox comes back as the coach. Preferably, and they got to get the whole crew back.
Yeah. So hopefully
they'll get Goldberg. They'll get that dude who's from Daredevil who was the Rough Rider, and whatever the guy who played the little kid who wore those jerseys. I forget what that guy's name is. The Sharks and Golden Knights. That's going to be a great series. That's going to be one to look forward to watching. Well, what is it? What is the San Jose Ducks series right now?
3-0.
3-0. Yeah, that'll probably be over in 5, unless they pull Flyers of 2011.
And how about the Jets? The Winnipeg Jets is going to advance.
No one cares about the Jets.
I know, but they're But
by the way, that includes all Jets. That includes all Jets, including your New York Jets. Shout out to Bobby. I hate the Jets more than you ever realized.
Bobby, Olich, and Migden.
And also half of my friends from home. You know what? Hockey talk is over.
Go
we
Devils.
gotta get back to some baseball. Now, before
Phils are 10-6.
the
Phils are 10-6 and playing excellent baseball. Yankees
8-8,
can't
500.
say the same.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the
boys.
Yanks are 500, and they are fighting people. Good, congrats, Tyler Austin. You deserve to go up there and beat the hell out of Joe Kelly. Excuse my language, but that was accurate. Red Sox are currently 14-2.
They are playing great baseball.
I hate it.
They are playing fantastic.
Stellar baseball.
They look like what I thought they were going to look like in the beginning of the year as winners.
The Yankees are literally one of their 2 losses.
So
and it was when they whooped. They got whooped by the Red Sox when they came back.
That was the game afterward.
They
That was
came
the
back after
that was the
that
game
game,
where
yeah.
the Yanks won. That was the game where the Yanks won, and that was where the fight
yeah,
happened.
when the brawl
Yeah.
went out. Yep.
Okay. They really need to fight people to win.
Alex Cora is doing a great job with them. I mean,
He's putting.
By the way, the game they only lost the first game of the season, and then they won. Then they won
Yep.
every game after that until that. Yeah,
and the first game of the season, Sale pitched a great game, and the bullpen was the one who blew it against Tampa
Yeah.
Bay. But Alex Cora and the way, getting the batter's approach up there, they're aggressive hitters, man. And that lineup just gets more dangerous as it goes on.
As I'm literally watching this right now, Mookie Betts hit 3 home runs last night.
He's the best hitter in baseball right now.
against Ohtani, too.
Yeah,
Who's
that's
been
the
pitching
kid.
very
That's the
well.
kid who's pitching and DHing, right?
Yes,
Yep.
he's been one of the best storylines in baseball. That
Yeah, because the
we
guy's trying
haven't
to
really
do what
talked
the last guy who did that was Babe Ruth.
exactly.
And he had a horrible spring training. Everyone's like, "Oh, this Ohtani guy's not going to. We're going to start him off in the minors. Like that's what's going to have to do with him." But now look, the regular season started, and this guy's incredible.
And also, the Angels are 13-4, ahead of the reigning champs, the Houston Astros.
Yep.
So,
But yeah, the Boston Red Sox are playing really good baseball, unfortunately, and they're a very, very,
I love it.
very tough lineup.
you told me
beat
the
against.
Phils were had the second best record in the NL East. I would have called you a liar at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
What's
what's going on is it's a combination of playing. It's
the Braves every other
They
week.
played the great Braves, Marlins, and Reds the past series, and Tampa Bay. But the thing is, the whole Kepler's he's learned that he's letting his starting pitchers go forward in games. He's gotten more consistent with his lineup, and guys are seeing when their playing time's going to come. Exactly what we thought was going to happen. Exactly what we said was going to happen. Looking at their next series, play the Pirates, the Diamondbacks, the Braves again, the Marlins, and then they start May with the Nationals. And what we went through with our schedule last week, we said that they were going to be right around 500 or a couple games above at the end of this month, and it's looking like that prediction is going to be true. We talked about the Mets. The Mets are still on the roll in the NL East. The Nationals will come back. They are better than 500 baseball. The Braves are not 2 games above 500 team, and the Marlins will be in the basement.
Yeah, which is
the
embarrassing. Getting killed 9-1 against considerably the worst team in baseball this year, the Miami Marlins. Like how?
Who are you talking about?
The
Oh,
Yankees. The Yankees getting
yeah.
killed 9-1 to the last place Marlins. Like come
Yeah.
on.
Oh,
And
no,
and
no,
the
they're
one
not-
run came
that's
in the
not
ninth
fair.
inning.
They're not the last place team.
I'm
last
sorry.
place team is the Kansas City Royals at 3-12.
The Reds are 3-14.
And the Reds. So the Reds are literally the worst team in baseball. So now that we think about it, let's scavenge the Reds roster and see who can be traded to the Yanks. Because that would be cool. Let's take a look into that.
Votto, but that's about it.
Well, Joey Votto, they already have a first
But
baseman.
no, I think the Phillies playing well is very good. Bullpen's been very, very
I'll
encouraging
take Billy
lately.
Hamilton. We need a guy who can steal some bases.
You guys don't need another outfielder. Just be content.
Have
You
him
need
there to be
pitching.
a pinch runner. Have him be a pinch runner. Just let him steal bases for Brett Gardner.
Let's make me want to throw up.
However, I love Billy Hamilton,
You make
but
me want to throw
you
him.
need to
How
get
about
on
that?
base and hitting a 175 average. And
Why are you guys looking at trade for guys already?
No,
Let the season
I'm
freaking
just-
play
yeah,
out.
I know. I'm just concluding to. I don't think we need Billy Hamilton.
You don't need anything right now. You need to see what your young guys are going to give you and then make decisions in July. It's April still.
I'm just saying this as a joke. Like, the Yanks have like the best outfielding core in baseball. Debatable.
Not right now.
Not right now, but on paper,
Red Sox are looking like the best right now.
outfield.
Yeah.
Team.
Red Sox are looking like the best outfield in baseball.
Okay, who's the Red Sox outfield?
Benintendi, Bradley Jr., and Mookie
Yeah.
Betts.
That's
that
a hell of a lot better than the Yankees right now.
Yeah, that'll do it. I consider Stan still part of the outfield because he'll play him. He'll play right field.
He needs to be the everyday right fielder.
Oh yeah.
No,
you need to give him his set role. He has been in the National League throughout his entire career. He has 50 at bats this year. I am telling you, that is what he needs, and that is what the Yankees are eventually going to do, and that is what he's actually going to demand. That's what he needs to do to be great.
What are they going to do? Because they're not going to put. Judge is a good enough defender.
Play him in left.
Yeah, you got to play him in left.
Hicks is still good in left field.
He is a young, but
Hicks is great.
Judge
too.
is better than him. He needs to be in his set role, and Judge is young enough to move over there. Stan is a proven MLB best player in the MLB. Stick him out in right field every day. Do not stick him in the same spot in the lineup every day.
Gardner's too much of a clubhouse guy to not play center.
No, that's when I disagree with you. Obviously, he is a clubhouse guy. I think Hicks and center will be. Hicks will be great. Well, him switching back and forth.
They can play around with it a little bit, but once they find a consistent thing, you go for it.
You need to have Stanton in right field every day.
To Bill's point, I don't know if you guys saw. I saw it live. I missed not top plays. However, the way Stanton misplayed that ball in left field at Fenway, how literally he overran
it. A left fielder,
and it just
when you
bounced back 20 feet behind him to a ground ball double. It was
7 years out of position, and
probably a lot. By the way, a lot more years, including actually, it wasn't college.
It was in the minors. Yeah. When you have played that amount of time and you have that amount of major league experience, where you have been a home run king, you have been a batting title king, you have won an NL MVP, you have been the best player in baseball. You have every right to run out to the same spot every day.
One of the best players in baseball.
He was the best player in baseball last year.
Yes.
If you desire that to play well, okay, I can see other guys being able to move around. He's not that guy. It is now proven there has been enough of a sample size where he will not perform well if he is not batting fourth and playing right field every day.
That's when I'm going to disagree with you. I think just as an experiment, move him down in the lineup, let him see different pitches. Because if I know it depends who's on base and stuff, but if you're going to be hitting third or fourth, you know you're going to get, if there's nobody on base, you're not going to get fastballs.
The point. You're going to get fastballs when you have Judge or Sanchez behind you. That is the point of having that lineup.
But he's been hitting behind them.
I know. I'm saying move him up.
No, he's been in between them.
Yeah.
In between them, yes.
Yeah.
Judge has been hitting second. The key to what this is, he needs to be out in right field every inning. He needs to know every 3 innings I'm going to get an at bat. And I'm going to trot out to right field, and I'm going to play that short porch. I'm going to throw out 30 guys a year at home.
It's all a rhythm. Man.
He's the guy that needs that. He's a National League player playing in the American League.
Well, Boone will figure that out sooner than later.
He hasn't. He's been very bad at his job so far. He has mismanaged. Okay,
you know what?
He has mismanaged the bullpen, and for all the criticism that you guys had Girardi about to be a binder guy, he's an even bigger binder guy.
By the way, that's not true. I have never had a single criticism about Girardi.
I did.
Yeah, you have every single.
So I'll admit it. Yes, I'll admit that. But what were you saying? Lutz?
I'm the guy who's been saying Girardi should still be the manager. If Girardi's still the manager of this team, none of this would be happening. Actually, no, that's not entirely true. They would still be hitting their slump. They'd probably be maybe 2 games over 500. Because you expect Stan to strike out a bunch of times. I get that. But he would have figured out the bullpen problem already by now. And some of the only 2 games. They're not going to be. They would not be 14-2 if Girardi was there. I think Girardi. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes. Because if they finish out as 500 baseball team, that's the biggest disappointment probably ever.
It's a failure.
And you guys know who I wanted as good old manager. People hate him. However, the most intelligent baseball mind, I think, debatable one.
Barry Bonds?
No, to play the game.
Mark McGwire?
Are you talking about A-Rod? Jeez.
Alex Rodriguez.
Oh my God,
yep,
stop.
Absolutely.
So looking up at the Yankee schedule, they have
we talked about this last week. They have plenty
today off. Toronto next week. Into the weekend.
Toronto tomorrow. Yeah.
They wrap up midweek with the Twins, and then they finish out April with the Angels. And they have 1 game in April with the Astros, or 2 games in April with the Astros.
Remember last week I said
they're going to be 500. They'll be fine.
I said last week that the best outcome that will probably be is 2 games over 500. Because I don't think they can easily be 500.
Right now, it's looking like 500 could be the best outcome by the way they're playing baseball.
Give or take.
It's just a shame because, yeah, it is early in the season, but the games that we have lost, those are the games that needed to be won come later at the end of the season when you're like, those are the games that need to be won in order to be a divisional leader rather than a wild card, even though the Red Sox are taking it.
Well, that's if they even get to the wild card at this point.
Yes.
Because what do we got? They're not even in the wild card spot right now because it'll either be literally, if you look at the playoffs ended right now, I understand it's only 16 games in. I don't care. You got Boston, Cleveland, Angels, Astros, and Toronto in the playoffs, and the Yanks are out. Yeah, go Yanks! All right, we're ending a little bit early because I need to figure out this allergy problem. This is just not good. Thank you guys all for listening. What are you
I'm taking you out on the Sixers theme song. We're done.
I'm not playing. No, hold on. You're ruining the ending of the show.
Oh, no. What are you...
You know what? You didn't even let me do all my plugs. I'm sorry about the YouTube problem, guys. We will get to that at this point. We will figure that out. I'll try to get all 3 episodes out. If you can listen to them, that would be great, including this one today. My name is Lutz. I hate that song. South Philly Bell's on my right. I hate this song even more. Oscar's over here. I don't know why I said we're on our right. We actually got to start playing some advertisements here. Turn that song off, and we are out.
More hits than the Hawks. Radio 1851.
Call it how it is. Hendrix.